What's going on, everyone? This is Corey with Xbox Tavern with another review. This week I'm looking at Jumanji Wild Adventures. So this is the follow-up to the first Jumanji game that Outright Games put out that followed the new line of Jumanji movies, and this happens to be the sequel on that game. As expected, you will be able to take control of the four main players of that new Jumanji movie and pick one to go on an adventure with. Now, this is a level-based game. You navigate a hub world and go to the levels that you want to go to. And when you enter, you get to pick one of the characters, so you're not locked into anybody specifically. Each of them have their own special weapons and maneuvers and looks and things like that. But for the most part, they really feel kind of the same. When you get into a level, you will pretty much be tasked with getting to the end of the level. That's your main objective. However, there are different things you can do during the level in order to get more stars. Each level will have its own specific challenge. Some will be getting through the level quickly. Some will be defeating every enemy, just things like that. You'll also want to amass a certain amount of points. And just like the platformer games of yesteryear, there is a collectathon in the word Jumanji. Those letters are hidden throughout every level, and of course, getting all of them will grant you another star. Now, in the levels, you're going to come across different kinds of enemies. Some are going to be up close, some are going to be ranged, some are going to be flying, and you're going to be able to attack them with your different weapons. Now, I said they all kind of control pretty similarly, and I still stand by that. However, they do each have their own secondary weapon that you get from crates and stuff that you find throughout the levels. Most of the time, that's a ranged weapon. It can act a little unique, but for the most part, it's nothing too game-breaking or changing to make one player or one character any better than another. There are several difficulties you can choose from, so the game's not too hard. Even on the hardest difficulty, which is called Jumanji, you will go back to a checkpoint and kind of reset your lives. That's kind of the worst of it, and that's not too bad. I did mention that there's a hub world. You'll go there between levels. There's a shop up there that you can buy upgrades for the characters for, so you're going to be getting coins as a currency, and that's where you'll be able to spend them at. The upgrades kind of just make the enemies die quicker. It wasn't too much. The hub world, you do navigate in a Jeep or some kind of vehicle, and you're going to get caught up on the terrain or the geometry of the game. Quite often, it's not the best, but at least you can get places fairly quickly. Now, I didn't play the first game. As I mentioned, this is a sequel, but I looked up some videos and it doesn't seem like much has changed based off of what I saw there. So take that for what you will. If you have played the first game, then you probably know what you're getting into with this one. It has its own quirks. This is a platformer and mostly with some combat, and it's a third person and the camera is fixed, which is kind of weird. Some places it will look more 2D, some places you're gonna be like sliding and falling down, but for the most part you can kind of run around and in like a 2.5D environment almost. You're going to be coming across a lot of invisible walls and things like that, though the game's very linear, so you can't really walk around, so don't expect that. Other than that, I don't have a ton of negative things to say about the game. I just thought it was a little uninteresting, and the levels seem to last a little too long for my liking. And one thing this game does have that I have not been able to try is local co-op. You can do up to 4 players locally, each controlling a character. That could be more interesting than playing by yourself. So again, if you have kids or just a group of people that want to play, that might be something worth taking into consideration. But that will do it for me for Jumanji Wild Adventures. Be sure to check out xboxtavern.com for the final score, and I'll catch you in the next review.